Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. A sinister twist just marked Young and Restless spoiler for Death at Dumas party. After a slow final lead-up, Young and Restless fans are finally about to embark, along with invited guests, on a journey to discover the true identity of Aristotle Dumas and find out what he's up to at long last. Will all the hype lead to a big payoff? It just might. Departing for Dumas, quite an eyebrow-raising collection of characters heading overseas to experience who knows what at Aristotle Dumas' private party in France, including many that don't normally mix, or who definitely don't mix well. With Abby and Lily at each other's throats, Billy and Victor sharing the same space, Audra and Kyle trying to outwit one another, and Phyllis, Nick, Sharon, all on the trip. There's no way we're not going to get some conflict. If we could also get some sex, scandal, anything soapy, that would be fantastic too, in case you didn't think it possible to drag this story out anymore. Be prepared to wait a teensy bit longer before the eventual reveal of the Riviera Recluse. It appears as though the guests are embarking on a bit of a journey, complete with train rides and challenges. Before we get down to the nitty-gritty, I couldn't help but giggle at the preview of a mystified Jack, Diane, Kyle, and Audra being told by Dumas' creepy assistant Carter that they have to complete a maze to get into the inner sanctum. In the end, I'm sure we'll discover that Dumas is none other than Kane Ashby, even though it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially if he's played by Billy Flynn, who isn't old enough to play a man who once passed himself off as Chance's father. That said, stranger casting moves have been made on soaps, so let's all give it a chance. After all, Flynn himself asked fans to be kind as he makes his debut, a sinister twist, but will it all be about the reveal? I suspect there's something much more sinister afoot. In fact, a scene in Friday's episode made me instantly question if this was about to turn into some sort of murder mystery. After Amy hugged Damien goodbye and the intrepid travelers left, she told Nate she'd felt a chill down her spine. When she hugged her son, she questioned what it might mean. To me, it meant Damien was probably a goner. It was like the kiss of death, only a hug instead. Considering how many people asked Damien why he was even bothering to go to Nice, given that Dumas had fired him, it all added up to a very bad vibe. Did you get the same soapy sixth sense? The opinions expressed are my own. Please feel free to share your thoughts on this week's Young and Restless in the comments. It was supposed to be an exclusive midnight affair, a calculated exhibition of power from the Young and the Restless newest and most dangerous player, Aristotle Dumas. But the sleek, black tie gathering quickly spiraled into something darker, more disturbing, a night filled with whispers, betrayals, and a chilling sense of finality. And before the last glass of champagne was drained, one guest, a familiar Genoa city favorite, had been marked for death. Now we're breaking down exactly what happened, how it all unfolded, and why no one who attended that twisted soiree may ever be the same again. Chapter 1. The invite that promised to amuse. The invite was wrapped in crimson velvet and sealed with a black wax insignia, AD. It simply read, "Come, witness the unveiling. Midnight, no phones, no exits, no mercy." Nick Newman was the first to scoff. "What is this, a murder mystery dinner?" Phyllis rolled her eyes. "Please, this screams villain origin story." And yet, they all went, because when Aristotle Dumas calls, you answer. Whether out of curiosity, arrogance, or fear, Genoa City's most influential players found themselves pulled into the lion's den. Chapter 2. The cast of Castacaricitus. The guest list was limited, deliberately so. Dumas didn't want noise. He wanted impact. Attendees: Victor Newman, whose empire Dumas has slowly started to infiltrate. Phyllis Summers, ever the schemer, desperate to outwit the man who's been watching her every move. Audra Charles, entangled, in both business and desire, with the billionaire. Sharon Rosales, whose psychological expertise has made her both valuable and vulnerable. Nate Hastings, recently recruited into Dumas' inner circle. Nick Newman, whose protective instincts may come too late. And finally, spoiler, the guest Dumas never intended to let leave alive. Chapter 3. A night at the end of the World Lair. Dumas' secluded estate built deep within the hills outside Genoa City glowed like a lighthouse of decadence and dread. Guests arrived via blindfolded escort, stripped of phones and watches. There would be no clocks tonight, only time. As Dumas chose to define it, inside the decor was unsettling. Velvet walls, all blood red, one wall covered in framed obituaries, blank, save for one. A piano played itself in a corner, echoing with melancholic unease. Then, the host emerged. Dumas wore no tie, no smile, only the confidence of a man orchestrating destiny. "Thank you for joining me," he said, arms outstretched. "Tonight, I show you not who I am, but what I'm willing to do." Chapter 4. The sinister performance. BGNS. There were no hors d'oeuvres, no drinks were served until every guest was seated at a round, black marble table. At the center, a chessboard, but instead of standard pieces, the board held custom carvings of each guest, eerily accurate miniatures, cast in obsidian and ivory. Dumas took the queen piece, resembling Sharon, and held it up. Some of you think you know the game, he said, but tonight, I changed the rules. That's when the lights dimmed. The only illumination, a screen behind Dumas flashing one phrase over and over, only one may fall. Victor rose, angered. What is this nonsense? A prophecy? Dumas replied. A choice. And one of you has already made it, whether you realize it or not. Chapter 5. Betrayal in real time. Throughout the night, Dumas played each guest against the other. It wasn't parlor games, it was psychological warfare. He presented video footage, Audra accepting an envelope marked confidential from an unknown courier. Nate in a clandestine phone call with someone listed as M. Phyllis sneaking into Sharon's therapy office after hours. Nick arguing with Adam in Crimson Lights, a confrontation that conveniently ended with Adam disappearing for 48 hours. Each clip ended with the same question: why should I trust you? The tension was thick enough to shatter, but it was when Dumas turned his attention to spoiler that everything changed. Chapter 6. The target, Arriva to win. The screen lit up again. It showed spoiler at an airport, alone, boarding a flight Dumas claimed never existed. Where were you that night? He asked. I told you, in Chicago. Business, spoiler replied. Interesting, Dumas countered. Because the man you met there was found dead 48 hours later, poisoned, and the security footage was mysteriously erased. The room fell silent. Victor stood up. This is absurd. You're accusing without proof. Dumas smiled. I'm not accusing, I'm warning. You made a move against me. And now ... it's my turn. That's when Dumas unveiled a table with 7 glasses of wine. One for each guest. One, he claimed, was laced. Drink, he said, or walk away, and I'll know exactly who deserves my retribution. Chapter 7. The DECIACO and Sharon, always the voice of reason, protested. This is manipulation. You're trying to fracture us. Dumas didn't deny it. Trust, he said, is the first lie you all told yourselves tonight. Nick grabbed Sharon's hand. We're leaving, but Dumas stood firm. Walk away, and spoiler dies before sunrise. Victor narrowed his eyes. Is this about leverage or loyalty? Dumas simply replied, this is about justice. One by one, the guests were forced to decide, drink or walk away. Some stayed, some fled. But spoiler, shaken, cornered, and exposed drank. And the moment the glass touched their lips, Dumas locked eyes with them. You chose poorly. Chapter 8. A body in the HL. Minutes later, spoiler collapsed in the hallway, coughing, gasping. Panic erupted. Phyllis screamed. Audra ran for help. Nate checked for a pulse, but Dumas didn't move. He walked calmly to the side of the dying guest, knelt, and whispered, you were never going to make it out, but you played your part perfectly. Then he stood, turning to the others. This is the price of betrayal. And if anyone else here plans to cross me, I suggest you pick out your last suit now. Chapter 9. Who's the victim? At press time, Young and Restless is keeping the identity of spoiler under tight wraps, possibly to allow for shock value or reshoots. However, insiders say the victim is a legacy character with deep ties to multiple storylines, making the twist all the more devastating. Fan speculation has exploded online, with theories ranging from Nate, whose betrayal could double as a redemption arc, Audra, who's long danced on the razor's edge of corruption, Nick, which would blow up the Newman family in devastating fashion, or even Phyllis, whose 9 lives may finally run out. Whoever it is, one thing is certain, this death isn't random, it's war. Chapter 10. Aftermath in Genoa. City back in town. The ripples are immediate. Victor declares a private war against Dumas. He's crossed a line. No one kills one of mine. Sharon is in freefall. I watched it happen. I felt it coming, and I couldn't stop it. Phyllis becomes obsessed. This isn't over. I'll burn that place to the ground before he takes another one of us. And Dumas, he simply disappears. His mansion is wiped clean within hours. No trace of the party, no sign of spoiler España. No surveillance footage. Only a note left in Victor's office. Round 1 goes to me.